today we are so excited. We have one of my good friends and favorite people, Regan Brooks. He is a PA and one of the injectors at Beauty Lab and Laser. And we are going to talk to him about everything we need to be doing to keep looking young and fresh.
Yes, welcome, Reagan.
Hello, everyone. I love it.
So good to have you here. We're dying to know like the skinny because obviously our audience is pretty much 35 plus, most 40 plus, and I think women are really I think it's getting more in mainstream where people are more comfortable saying that like they do Botox, where I feel like 10 years ago when I started it, like it was hush hush and nobody wanted to act like they did anything.
Yeah.
But now it's a little more mainstream and, people are doing a little this, a little that, non-invasive. So, I mean, I'm dying to know like what services do you offer first? And then let's talk about what is the most popular.
Well, let's talk about first, real quick, about normalizing Botox and neurotoxins.
Yes.
If you think about it, when your mothers were getting their hair done, they would get their hair done, come home. They would never talk about getting their hair dyed. They would go get their hair cut. But even back then, so 20 years ago, people wouldn't even didn't even want to talk about dyeing their hair. And then that became normalized. If you thought about that, like we all now, everyone dyes their hair. That's kind of like a normal thing. It's the same with Botox. Now that Botox and neurotoxins, they've been around for over 20 years now, and so it is now at the point where everyone is starting to get their Botox, and so it's becoming normalized, which is I think is great, and I
Right.
want people to
So
be able to talk about that. Just like you get your hair done, your nails done, you can also get your face done.
Mhm.
exactly.
Yep. And be done in a very natural way, which that's kind of a big thing these days is people getting overdone.
Yes.
That's the rare exception where people are getting overfilled with stuff. But if you
Oh,
want
I
to,
can't
yeah, go
I
for it.
can't wait to talk about that
I
too
know.
because
Yeah.
well, I had my own incident we'll bring up in a minute, but
Okay. Yeah.
wowzer ramen. I'm so excited that the hair dye is like normal now. Can you imagine how bad we would look if nobody
Oh,
dyed their hair
well,
It would
yeah.
be
I
so
mean,
or did Botox or nails? I
Can
mean,
you
yeah,
imagine
I
how
would
we
say
would
I'd be
look
the
if we had never had Botox?
yeah.
it
Or
would be
or
terrible.
or lashes. I mean, lashes are big these
Yeah.
days. It's
I
it's
always say
crazy.
I would be the pilgrim that didn't get picked. I would be the pilgrim that didn't get picked. The hair, I mean, it would be bad news for Haley. Um,
So let's. Do you want to talk about services that I do?
yes.
So, Beauty Lab and Laser. So I do all the injectables. So we're talking all the neurotoxins, Botox, Dysport, Daxify. We're talking fillers for the cheeks, for the lips, jawline, chin. We're talking about biostimulators, which hopefully we'll talk about that a little bit later. But those are things that build the collagen in the face,
Mm.
which I think is kind of the future of aesthetics. We're moving away from overfilling people's faces and then giving them a more natural look with biostimulators. That's kind of the wave that I see in the future. And so anything that I can place in the face or do the face to make you look more youthful but very natural is what I do.
And you are the best at it. I can
Well,
contest
I
because I've
appreciate
been
that.
going for probably 10 years now to Reagan. Well, let
It's like your hairdresser, right? Like you do not when you find someone good, you're like, "Oh, this is my person for life." I
Correct.
wish I lived
So
there, but
so think about this. This is people will try to find the best deals online for their injectors, you
oh,
know, which to me it's your face.
yeah.
yes.
You wouldn't even do that for your hair. Why would you do that for your
No, you
face?
should not be
Why are
paying a
you trying to
deal
find the deals?
for your face.
No,
Like, you need to be
Do
no,
not
feeling
chintz.
good.
Do not chintz on anything
Well,
no.
in
Yes.
this area.
that actually is one of the questions, I wanted to ask you. For people that don't know who to go to or don't have friends that are recommending someone that they really trust, how do you think is a good way for someone to find
Yeah.
an injector?
So if they don't really have anyone to ask, I think reviews is one thing. So you can Google med spas, look at their reviews. I think that really is telling.
Yeah.
Of course, you can find their social medias, so you can find before and after pictures on their social medias.
Yeah.
Which mine, Lips by Regan. I've been doing this for 10 plus years now, and social media is what really got me busy.
Mm.
Just because I had a good presence there, and
I'm following right now.
really good, yeah, really good before and afters. But nowadays, it's more word of mouth. So
Yeah.
social media is big to get people started with aesthetics. But for me now, it's pretty much 95% all word of mouth.
Yeah, and if you look at someone and they look good and you know they've had work done, asking, even if it's a stranger, I feel
Yep,
like
they're my walking billboard.
yeah,
That's what
exactly.
it is.
That's so
Yep.
true. So,
Yeah.
what do you feel like is the best thing for women around 35, 40 to get done that really is gonna help them fight the battle of aging, like, keep them looking good?
Yeah. So I tell every woman who comes and sit in my chair that if there's one thing that we could do that day to make them look more youthful, it's a neurotoxin. It's Botox and Dysport.
Mhm.
So we are just going to smooth out some wrinkles. We may give you a little eyebrow raise, make you look more awake. So that's like usually the number one thing that I always bring up if they haven't already started during neurotoxin. But nowadays, typically they're starting in their 20s now. But
Oh,
if they haven't, if they're 35 and they haven't started, that would be the number one thing I tell them to get started. Let's get you started on neurotoxin.
What do you tell
That's,
people that are nervous about getting Botox? I still hear
so
people say, "I'm nervous
yeah,
to get it," and I'm like, "You should be more nervous to not get it." It's
yeah. So the great thing about Botox, so it's been around for more than 20 years now. It is one of the safest drugs that we have. It does exactly what we tell it to do, and that's to stop the conversation from our brain to the muscles, so we stop using that muscle. And besides like injection spot, like bruising and things like that can happen on occasion, it does exactly what we tell it to do. So it's a very, very, very safe drug. So over 20 years of using it with very, very little problems. So it's very safe. And people will hear the word toxin, so they think you're putting a toxin in your body, and so that's not the case here. It is very safe to use.
I mean, people think this is a toxin, but I keep drinking
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
exactly. Yes,
Exactly.
it's that's so true. It's so funny. They're worried about putting that in their face, but they're going to the McDonald's
Yeah,
and
Yep.
fast food all the time. It's
exactly.
just uh, that
Oh,
Botox is not going to kill you. So
No.
it's those other things we put in our body that will.
yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think that so Reagan and I work together too, so I get to see so much of all the amazing faces that he does. And one of the services that I feel like has made a big difference on people is the jawline. Like it
Uh,
really helps.
Excuse
yeah,
me, what do I need to know about the
yeah.
jawline?
Well, so we all know when we look at celebrity photos, jawlines are usually the one thing they get treated. So we see like a photo of them 6 7 years ago and then a recent photo, and we can see that their jawlines are just so, I guess you can call snatched for the kids these
Yeah.
days, but just so or just so defined.
Yeah.
And so jawlines and chins really do make a huge difference on our looks. And so they are, now that it's on label that we can inject the jawline. So we have fillers that can do that these days. It's a big deal. I mean, young people want jawlines, older people want jawlines. Everyone wants a jawline because it does make a big difference on our profile and how we look. Uh, Chins are
Oh,
huge because if you guys can think about the most beautiful people in the world, like what do they have in common? Typically, they have great cheeks, great jawline, and chin. You rarely see someone with a weak chin who is really beautiful. That's just our eye. That's what we're seeing,
yeah.
Yeah.
especially men. I bet you couldn't even name one man in Hollywood that has a weak chin that is considered, one of the most beautiful men
That's
in the world.
true.
It is, yeah. Chins are huge for both men and women, but mostly for men. If they have a weak chin, We just don't see that as beauty for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's a
Oh,
hot treatment. Yeah. The jaw.
I want a snatched jawline.
yeah, you know where to find me.
Yes. I feel like lots of people
So
Oh,
fly
this is
in for
great.
you. Haley has before.
yeah, yeah, I definitely. I have my clients from out of town that come see me. A lot of the clients that have been seeing me for years that moved away, they're just come back to see me a few times a year.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, just like your hairdresser, you just never want to lose that person, so they come back and see me, which
No.
is I love it.
Exactly.
I mean, I really appreciate them doing that. So, other
Yeah.
things that are, I think, for women 35 and over, we talked about neurotoxins. As we age, we have volume loss in our face, and things start to trend down. So, there are some things we can do subtly to make ourselves look more youthful, and
Mhm.
that is fillers. And I know that people have this misconception that you're going to look overfilled or terrible these days, but that is the rare case.
Mhm.
As long as you have a good injector that's not going to do that to you, you can make it look very natural and make it look like you've never been touched with a filler before. So a little bit of filler in the cheeks, a little bit of filler in the chin and jawline, or even in the lips, just to bring back some volume that we've lost over the years is huge. Now, the other thing that I'm doing a lot of is biostimulators, like products like Sculptra, which again, I think that's kind of the wave of where aesthetics is going to go, because it is a product they inject within the face that builds your own collagen. So
Oh,
it's not a filler. We're just bringing collagen back into your tissues, thickening your skin, improving fine lines and wrinkles, improving elasticity, so like bringing elasticity back to the skin and tightening the skin again. And I think that's kind of where aesthetics is really heading, is biostimulators. So I'm
That's
doing a lot of that these
exciting.
days.
This is so exciting. And how many times do you feel like someone needs to get that done a year? Is it once a year, 3 times a year?
Yeah. So let's first talk about neurotoxins. So Botox. Botox, I tell clients to get it done 3 times a year, every 4 months. Now, some people want it sooner than that, Laura.
Yep. Exactly.
we
Sometimes,
metabolize it quicker.
yeah. And that's fine. But I try to make it easier for them. But if you can go 3 times a year and to get your neurotoxin, let's say it's $700 each time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That I think that's affordable for
Yeah.
them, and they can at least plan that out. And then as for so fillers usually last about 6 months to a year or more, depending on where we're placing the filler.
Yeah.
And then sculpture is that is a biostimulator and it's going to build the collagen. So that is a product where we get it. We need to build the collagen first, and then after that, it's all maintenance. So typically, you come in if you're 35 or 40, you're going to have 2 treatments about 6 weeks apart, and then after that, we just do it once a year for as long as you want to look good and young. So
I feel like this
Wow.
is the best treatment and everyone should do it. Reagan has done it on me, and I remember the very first time you did it.
yeah,
It's not immediate, like you said, and it was kind of like a month later, I was putting on my makeup and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it almost looks like you gave me a little bit of filler." And I
yeah,
didn't. He had just done Sculptra. And so now I tell everyone,
What?
this is the treatment. Like you need
yeah.
to do this.
So
You've
I've
never
been
told that to me. I'm mad.
I'm not about your olive skin and your neck looking so good still, okay?
Oh boy.
yeah, yeah. Sculpture takes time, so it is like a 6 month process. But within the first month, you're seeing changes like skin tone and textures improving. A little bit of those fine lines are improving. Maybe some tightness of the skin is getting better, tightening of the skin.
I've never heard
But
of this, you
it's a
guys.
6 month process of the collagen growth. So so that makes it even more natural. It's not like just some instant change, and
Yeah.
and so people know that you've had it done.
Yeah.
It's this gradual change, and it's just building your own collagen, and you just your skin just looks so much more youthful, and it can and
Oh,
add some volume that you lose. So if you have some volume loss in your cheeks, I'm going to add a little bit more of that to your cheeks. We can add some to your
oh.
jawline to give your jawline a little bit more of a presence if you need it. So
I'm excited that
Okay.
you think this is where it's going. Like this is the future.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. No, fillers are never going to go away.
No.
I mean, we're always going to need fillers, because sculpture can't do everything that can't give us a ton of volume that we need. Some people need need fillers. So
Yeah.
fillers aren't going away, but we're using less and less fillers these days and more biostimulators.
Oh, I'm sold. Okay, would this be great? I have 2 big questions. Would this be great for I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic face.
Yeah, this is okay. This is exactly what this is for.
Mm.
So Ozempic face, we have a lot of fat loss in the face from the Ozempic, right? So
Mhm.
if we can get that back naturally with some thickening of the skin and thickening of the tissues underneath with collagen. So I think I have increased my sculpture use since Ozempic. I really
And
have. And also probably some fillers too.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of trending toward a client who's lost a lot of volume like that. I
Mhm.
will start with Sculptra to get some collagen growth, and then after a few months of that, then we may go to a filler. But yeah, Ozempic face is a thing for
Yeah.
sure.
what's your other
Yeah.
Interesting.
question?
Oh,
I'm like,
the
I
other
wanna hear the
question
other big question. I'm here.
well, okay, so the lips are a massive like, you've seen good lips, you've seen bad lips, like we
Well,
all
and
have.
this is what you're
Yes.
famous for. This is why he's Lips by
Yeah.
Regan. I mean, he is the
I'm s
lip man.
I'm so upset right now because my lips so here's the thing. I have tried injections twice over the last 10 years, and I've hated it both times because the second lady finally was like and I'm not doing a lot, like the bare minimum, whatever the smallest half a syringe or something. But she's like, "Your muscle curls under." And so, like, I don't know. I see people with these big lips that that look good, that there's fill in her, but they look good. And I'm just like, why can't I have that?
Yeah. So a couple things. One is that it may be the injector, but a lot of times
Yeah.
it's just anatomy. It's just your own, what has God given you, type of thing. So sometimes every set of lip has a potential. So I can see your lips and like your lips has a certain potential. It's not you're never going to have nice full lips, you know, but
Bloody hell.
you can have fuller lips,
Okay, I'm coming in.
that look very natural. And again, with
Yeah.
lips, my goal is I want you to walk away, and after they heal, no one would ever know you had lip filler in there. Now, there are some clients that want a little bit fuller lips and look a little bigger, and I'll have that discussion with them. And I never want to go too big on someone. But some
Yeah.
people love that look, and
Yeah.
we have
Oh,
that discussion in the chair on how big we want to go, and how I want them to keep looking natural without going too
yeah.
big. And they understand that too. And I've turned many people away. If they sit in my chair and they want more lips, I'm
Yes.
like, it's not time.
Which this is a
I
sign
have
of
no
an
problem doing that.
injector. I feel like when your
Yeah.
injector tells you no, that is them actually
Yeah.
doing their job,
Yeah.
Yeah.
making you look your
I'm telling people no every day. Yeah.
This is so funny because my plastic surgeon, like that I've been doing Botox with for 13 years or I don't even know how long. He will tell I'm like, "What do you do if somebody comes in and wants like extra and they just won't like take no for an answer?" He's like, "Oh, I tell them they can't say my name."
no ill idea.
He's like, You're not allowed to
Again,
say you
yeah, I
did it."
mean, yeah, you really don't want that. You don't want that really big overdone look, and then
Yeah.
someone telling you, "Well, that was done by me."
Yeah.
That's not what I want for sure. So
Yeah.
I totally get that.
And I feel like lips
Okay.
last such a long time, so it's even if people think they're expensive, which I actually don't think lips are that pricey compared to other
Lips are very
yeah,
affordable. Yeah,
super affordable. But the last time Reagan did my lips, I think that it's been a year and a half. I think September was a
Oh,
year.
wow.
So it's been, yeah, like a year and a half. So they last, I don't know. It's
yeah, and so it's different for everyone. I mean, some people will burn through product really fast.
mhm.
As you are adding a new product onto old product, you tend to hold on to it longer.
Yeah.
After you get your lips done a
Oh,
few times, and then you'll hold on to it a lot longer. So, but that
that's good
varies
to
for
know.
every client too.
Yeah.
But typically, what I want people on is, we'll get the lips right where they need to be, and then every 6 months, I just see them for a little touch up. So twice a year on
Because
that.
then you're staying the same. I think that's the trick is like, keeping it consistent.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So
We're
in the
trying to keep
beginning,
them at
you're
that
right,
level.
I did have to do it sooner, like 9 months or 6 or 9 months, but now they've just kinda stayed, but yeah, I think the touch-up, 'cause then no one knows, like, this is
Yeah.
just how you
Yeah.
look now.
Yep.
Okay, so is this a true or false statement? Are you ready? So, if you, like, work out a lot, do you metabolize the filler more? Is there something to that? That's just what I've heard. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think I do believe there's something to that. I see like a runner who comes and sit in my chair. I
Yeah.
know they're not going to hold on to their filler that long, just because they metabolize things quickly.
Is it
You
the
know,
same
they're
with
Yeah.
thin.
Botox too?
Yeah, I think so, but that's not for everyone though.
Yeah,
I've had people who work out every day for a couple hours and they hold on to their Botox really well
yeah.
too. But I think in general, I think it does. But I also don't tell people to stop working out because I want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that.
Wow. Okay, so I'm here I'm just airing, like, all of my skeletons in the closet, if you would call it that. Well, now we've all known what Haley's tried before. So, I don't even remember. It had to have been, like, a year and a half ago. I think I got, like, swindled into it because my regular doctor wasn't in, and then, like, some new guy was in there. I can be swindled really easy, so I'm, like, getting the Botox, which I only do on my forehead because my eyebrows droop, and so I would just get, like, a tiny bit, and I should probably get it other places, but I don't. But anyhow, I got this, like, cheek filler. I don't even know what it was. So then I just went to my dermatologist because all of a sudden in the last year, I'm like, I thought that I don't even know what you call it, but the big bags
Hmm.
that, like, are, like, I don't e what are they called? Festoons? I
Yeah,
looked it
yeah.
up. I was mortified. I was like, "How am I getting festoons right now?" And then I went into my dermatologist here, who's a good friend of mine, and she was like, "Haley, this is filler." It's migrated up. So for
Yeah.
the whole
So
year, I was just like, I got old overnight. Like this, it did not go well.
yeah. So filler. Let's talk about that real quick about migration. So migration can happen in filler sometimes. Typically, that's in an area where um, with dynamic muscles, so like your mouth. So filler can migrate out of your lips because you're constantly talking.
Mm,
But typically, as long as filler is placed properly in the cheeks, that's usually not an issue. Now, it can happen. Now, I don't know exactly where you were injected or where it was placed,
mhm.
but filler can definitely move, and it can definitely cause problems like that if it's not placed properly. So
Well, I'm
sometimes,
pissed.
yeah. So
I
you
mean,
can get like some like edema under the eyes, if it wasn't placed
yes.
properly or too superficially sometime. So,
Yes, that's what it was.
yep.
Well, I want my money back to the dude. Just kidding. But this is even more serious. Wasn't there a product years ago that, like, grew or something, like, people that were doing and then it was, like, outlawed or something, like, 10 years ago? It's when you were doing the MMNL show.
Um,
So was it more permanent
I'm trying to
I
I
don't
think
or
know.
was it?
I can't remember.
Did I just make up this whole story?
Yeah, there's nothing that necessarily grows. There are permanent fillers that will
Okay.
essentially stay there pretty much forever. There's the biostimulators that will grow collagen,
No,
but
that's not it.
there's no hyaluronic acid products that would actually grow.
Okay, Haley just made up that maybe I had a dream about I don't know. Okay, moving on. So, alright. So the lips can be tricky because if somebody like that's one that's a little bit harder. Botox,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can have like one eyebrow higher than the other, but what is the least is Botox the least for somebody that's risk averse for anything? Is it like the easiest where you're like, okay, you really can't screw it up? Lips you can screw up. Have you ever
Well, you
done
could
someone where you're like, ooh,
so number one, Botox can be screwed up. Not everyone can do Botox. So
okay.
I've been doing this for over 10 years now. And I feel like I'm getting better and better even to this day, and so I see, when I first started out, I'd always see my follow-ups and, doing little these tweaks and stuff. But nowadays it's rare to see a follow-up for Botox because I've seen thousands and thousands of faces, and I pretty much know where the product needs to go.
Mhm.
So yes, but Botox is also probably the more forgiving product, meaning that it's going to wear off in 3 months. If you have a drop brow, it's going to come back and go back up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it is kind of the least forgiving, but you can also have some pretty bad outcomes with Botox. So you got to be careful with who's injecting you and how long they've been injecting. Um, as for lips, yeah, when I first started injecting 10 plus years ago, I didn't always have the best outcomes, but it's rare now that I see follow-ups on my lips anymore because I see so many lips.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I usually do 10 to 15 lips every day.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of
This is
lips.
He is
great
the lip
news.
man.
Yeah.
I know. Next time you're
Okay,
gotta
so
have him do your lip.
yeah, oh, I'm in, and I want the snatch jawline. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
making a
We want it
list.
And the Sculptra. So sorry I didn't tell you
Yes.
Let's just do it
about
all. Oh, I know, you guys, I learned something new. Okay, so
that. What about
let's
PRP?
talk about
PRP. So platelet rich plasma. So PRP, PRF is your own blood product that you spin down. And essentially that has biostimulators in it. So you can spin it down, inject it into places like under eyes, really throughout the whole face, and hopefully have some stimulation of collagen and elastin. Now, it's that I do not believe it's good as products on the market like Sculptra,
Hmm.
but it can work. But we also can't put Sculptra in the under eyes. So placing PRF, platelet-rich fibrin under the eyes, can help thicken the skin under the eyes and help with hollowness and darkness.
Okay, so it does help
So,
with dark under eyes.
yep, yeah,
I
sure
can you
does.
see my face well without the lights
Well, you look fantastic,
have-
but I'd have to see you
You're
in
like,
person.
I'm just kidding. You're like, "Oh, Haley, you need this, and this." And I haven't slept this week because I just launched a program 2 days ago and literally been working 20 hours a
Oh
day,
yeah,
but so I'm looking terrible right now,
you
but
look great.
She has
well,
amazing
thanks.
skin. You and Reagan both. Reagan has
Ugh.
all of good skin too. Ugh.
Okay, so let's move on to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, let me tell you our story. So I've been injecting 10 plus years, and Heather Gay, of course, from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, came and bought the practice that I was injecting at. So this was
Oh,
7 plus years ago, and so she came on, bought the practice, and it was really just her and I.
Yeah.
She had the money. She wanted to invest in this business, and she marketed me really well. So, we got the Lips by Reagan on Instagram. We really marketed towards millennials, so the younger population,
mhm.
towards lips, and it took off really fast. I mean, we were busy within a year, and it was really a
Yeah.
failing business before that. So, Heather's fantastic at marketing, and she was really good at social media. And I mean, obviously, there's a reason why she's on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She's a very funny person. So,
Yes, I read Bad Mormon, so
yes, yep.
her book.
And,
I was
and
trying to get
so,
like a feel for who she was.
yeah, so we've been working together for a long time now. I love Heather, and then 3 or 4 years into the business, this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City comes along. I was already very busy, but now, the practices, other injectors are in the practice are all very busy now too because of that. So the show's really helped us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, and people come back because everyone's so good.
Yeah, we have great injectors, and I think that's key. I mean, that we can get people in the door with the Real Housewives, but we keep them because we have really good injectors.
Yeah.
So
And Reagan actually
And Laura.
yes, and Laura,
But
love it.
you're a trainer also, right? You travel the
Yeah,
nation and
I travel the country and train people how to inject, which I love doing that. I'm doing that more and more these days. Of course, I'm in the office injecting usually 4 days a week, but I'm usually gone once or twice a month training people. So it's a
Mm.
lot of fun.
I mean, is there another hot treatment or something that you do that we haven't talked about that people should be getting or that people are getting all the time and making a huge difference?
Yeah, so there's really nothing in the pipeline recently. Having the FDA approval for the jawline came out
Mm.
2 years ago. That was big
Oh, okay.
because then we could like train on it, and so we're going doing more and more jawlines. Again, I really think that biostimulators is the future,
Yeah.
and so if you're 35, I think that's when I start having that conversation of, hey, we should start doing your Sculptra and start building some collagen and keeping it there. Um, lips are still very hot.
Yeah.
Everyone loves lips. And we're not doing lips as big as they used to be. We're keeping them more natural, which I like, which I prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then along with lips, because we don't want to ever create imbalance, chins are kind of hot these days too. Because if we give you more lips, it can kind of give you an imbalance in the lower third of your face, and you need some chin sometimes just to help with projection.
Yeah.
I
So,
would be terrible at this job because I only have one good working eye. I mean, people would go out like it would be terrible. I'd get fired day one for sure.
I would be scared to be putting needles in people's faces. I mean, but Reagan, I mean, you could do it in your sleep. You have to like have a certain personality to do this. The
yeah,
eye, you have to
Yeah.
have a good
yeah.
eye. And two,
You do have to have a good
You
eye.
good eyes.
So when I'm traveling the country and like teaching people how to inject, I can almost pick up right away if they're going to be good or not. And it's all about their eye, because I typically will have them look at the client and ask them, what do you see? And a lot of it is symmetry. Some people just can't pick up
Yeah.
symmetry for some reason. And that's what we see as beauty, is symmetry.
yeah.
So we've got to make sure that when we're injecting, we keep that symmetry going, or
Yeah.
correct symmetry if they were asymmetrical. So you've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
this really like pushes off anyone that like would have a facelift. I don't really know anything about facelifts, but like this could prevent having, all of these like non-invasive treatments.
Yeah. So I think that with fillers and with biostimulators these days, I think less people are having facelifts, but
Yeah.
um, you know, you as an injector, I've got to be able to look at someone, and if they have changes or too much changes of age, can I really help them, or do I need to send them off to a plastic surgeon at that point? So that's
Yeah.
that's also knowing, am I really going to help them, or am I just, wanting their money, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I wouldn't do. I would send them off to a plastic surgeon if I really feel like I couldn't help them. So
Oh,
no, facelifts are definitely still happening, but biostimulators are getting people. People are looking younger and younger these days.
For sure.
Hollywood women in their 50s look amazing, and I
yeah.
guarantee you they've had biostimulators. They've had probably Sculptra.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm coming in for the collagen because
Yeah.
somebody just asked me today on my Instagram. They're like, "Do you take collagen?" I'm like, "I can barely remember to take the creatine
Yeah.
and sometimes the fish oil. Like, there's nothing else I can add to it." So I mean, I'm all
I
for
get mine
for.
from Reagan. Yes. Don't worry about taking it. Just come and get it from Reagan.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, so Reagan, we've established this, but people can come from all over and just make an appointment with you. And if they're going to be visiting in Salt Lake or, I don't know, make a vacation out of it. Like you're taking new clients, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
so with the Real Housewives, of course, this is happening all the time. People make a vacation to come like see the famous spots of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and of course,
Yeah.
Beauty Lab is one of them. And so people will come in. They want to come in and say hi, but I have people booking, appointments with me just to maybe get some neurotoxins, some Botox while they're here. It
Yeah.
happens all the time. People outside taking pictures of Beauty Lab and Laser. It's kind of funny,
Yeah.
but it's every day that's happening, because they
Oh
all
my
want to
gosh.
see where all the, all the
Excitement
famous,
happens.
yeah, all the excitement happened, there at Beauty Lab and Laser. So
Yeah.
You guys could charge for like a tour, Tell
yeah,
Heather if she's into marketing, this is a big marketing
yeah, that's
opportunity.
right.
So anyone can come and see you at Beauty Lab and Laser. And then your Instagram is Lips by Regan.
Lips by Regan. Yeah, so they can come see me. They can call Beauty Lab Laser to make appointments. They can even just do it online. Just make sure they pick my name when they're picking their appointment. So
This is so exciting. All right. Well, good thing that I'm coming out in May
Yes.
to do podcast and other things. So
I
I'll
would
be
love
making
to
an
see you.
appointment online.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Regan, for
So great.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for having me. That was fun.
all of the things.
That was amazing and so helpful. So I can't wait to see you in person in, 6 weeks, I guess.
Yes. I'll be here.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a 5-star rating and sharing the Body Pod with your friends.
Until next time.